And now, let's get back to the show with McCarty in the Morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And on the KEEL app.
Back this morning, McCarty in the Morning. And if you're just jumping on the train, Mike Martindale is no longer with the program. We're friends. We're pals. We talk regularly, and we'll talk regularly from here on, I'm sure, and plan to do lunch. Not our decision. It was a corporate decision, and we didn't control that. So I am bringing in some different voices from our community that I think matter, that have an opinion, that have an outlook on what we need to be doing locally. And today, I've got my pal Mario Chavez. Am I saying that right?
Chavez, you got it.
Chavez?
Chavez.
Cha, so like church. I'm going to church.
Yes.
Okay. Mario, you've been on the Caddo Commission. You ran for mayor. You're an active businessman. I'm going to let you tell us the story of who you are, because you're originally from California,
That's
correct?
correct.
And what moved you here? What got you here?
General Motors actually shut down in California, in Van Nuys, California. And my father had a decision to make. It was either here, Canada, or Tennessee. And we had never left Southern California. So he said, well, I'm going to go to Louisiana because I think it's about the same climate. Boy, was he wrong.
Same climate.
I didn't even know. I remember walking off the plane and breathing a big breath and like, what is that?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's called humidity.
Ooh, now how old were you when you moved here?
I was 15. So it was quite the culture shock moving from Southern California to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh my gosh. And you have decided to stay. You've raised a family here. You're a businessman here.
Actually, Erin, I really like the South. People are super nice here. I remember driving down the street, people would wave at you. And in California, you don't even look at people. Like, it's kind of like New York. Mm-hmm. And I remember asking my dad, like, hey, do you know those guys? Because I was like, man, this guy must know everybody. He's only been here 2 months.
Right.
He said, no, that's the way people are down here. They wave at you. He's like, they talk to you. I was like, this is kind of cool. And then after being here for about a year, I said, man, people here are really great. And that's one thing people will say about Shreveport. The people here are really amazing.
Mm-hmm. And you go to school here. You have opened a successful business. Tell us what you do by day.
Absolutely. So we opened a company called Mercitech about 22 years ago. And we facilitate the movement of money for businesses. It's called merchant services, but unless you own a business, nobody ever knows what that means. Mm-hmm. But we do everything from setting up a countertop credit card terminal at like a yogurt shop to full-fledged EMR integrations for hospital systems where you pull up your medical records and pay your bills. Mm-hmm. We do everything from pawn shops to churches, online websites that do shopping carts. So anytime a business needs to accept money from their customer, whether it be face-to-face or even some remote desert gas station, like we even have a gas station in the middle of California in the desert that's unmanned. We set up the ability for that business to accept credit card payments. Okay.
You got into politics at some point. When did you first run for the Caddo Commission?
So it's funny, and God always has our plan perfectly laid out, unbeknownst to ourselves. We kind of have to see it along the way. I was actually doing my business, the credit card business, back when Steve Prater ran for re-election. And at that time, I was in my early 30s, and I didn't have any money to donate to Steve. And I said, well, I can donate my time, because in life you either have time or treasure. Well, at that time, I had no treasure, but I had a lot of time.
Right.
So I said, I'll do my donation for you, and what I'll do is I'll set up these laptops, and I'll let the deputies come sit behind them and take the credit card payments, and then whenever people want to donate to your campaign, that's how we'll get some money for you, because I can't give you any.
Right.
Well, it's funny. I was sitting there, and this lady walks up, and she asked me, how much are you charging the sheriff? And I said, well, I'm not charging him anything. And I explained to her why. And she said, oh, that's amazing. Where do you live? And I said, I live in Southern Hills. And she said, well, what do you think about the neighborhood? I said, I think the neighborhood sucks. I'm moving to Greenwood. And she convicted me. She said, it just so happened she was the president of the Homeowners Association of Southern Hills.
Oh, wow.
Right. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have said that, but I was just being honest. And I really had planned to move to Greenwood, where my father moved to. Mm-hmm. And because the Southern Hills neighborhood was going down. There was litter everywhere. You saw Mansfield Road. It looked really vacant. Now it's amazing. It's almost the next Uri Drive.
Right.
But she really convicted me. And when I went home and I thought about it, I said, you know what? She's got a good point. Because she said if all the people that can do something leave, then what are we left with? Who can actually do something? Mm-hmm. And she was probably mid to late 70s. So, she was in her years where it was time for her to relax.
Right.
And I was in my mid 30s, and I was like, you know what? I felt convicted. I said, I'm going to do it. Now, of course, I had a rocky past, so I didn't think that they were going to elect me. And I called her. I said, look, I'll do it. Can't guarantee you any results, but at least I'll give it a shot. So you can't say I didn't try.
Wow.
And I got elected. God had other plans. So
wow. And you served 8 years?
I did.
Okay.
I did 2 terms.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great experience because I had no desire. Like a lot of people, they think I want to be in politics. They like it. They watch it. I didn't even know who our city councilman was. I didn't know anything about politics.
Right.
And I had to get baptism by fire and learn the hard way about a lot of things. I just thought everybody was in it for the right reasons. And they all wanted to like move.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh out loud.
It was eye opening, Erin. You know,
yeah.
I met a lot of people, and I said, man, this is a lot of people are in it for themselves, and there's good ones in there, but then there's also bad ones.
Sure,
like every profession.
Right. Then after you decided to run for mayor,
I did.
How do you get to that?
Right, it's a lot. Well, so unfortunately, it's kind of like pick the analogy of you go and you open your back door, and you didn't know that your grass was 4 feet tall because you hadn't been in your backyard a minute, and all of a sudden you close the door and you go back in the living room watching TV and it's just eating at you that your grass is 4 feet tall and like you got to get out there and clean it up. Well, again, I didn't even know who my city councilman was, but after I got to the commission and as a legislator started trying to make laws and look at legislation and look at what's going on, what I really realized is the executive branch of government, where the rubber meets the road, is where I need to get in to actually fix stuff. Because you can make law all day long, but how people interpret it and how they carry out are 2 different things. Mm-hmm. So I said, I need to be where my hand is on the plow, and I'm actually the person that's pushing forth how we're going to do this. And I realized that would be the place that I need to be. Now, it was a lofty goal, I'll be honest with you, especially running as a no-party candidate.
Right.
Which I actually learned this. Somebody told me this. They said, you had more votes as a no-party candidate than anyone that we can look at it in the history of Shreveport in at least the last 2 or 3 decades. And
why didn't you stay a Republican? Well, what motivated you to change from Republican?
There was a lot of things that were going on at the time that even our local Republican Party was doing that I didn't agree with.
Okay.
And when it came down to it, was I really running to represent a party? No, I was really running, if I was going to be wearing a T-shirt, it wouldn't have been red or blue. It would have been Shreveport, and because I really wanted to fix Shreveport. So I didn't really care what political party I was.
Right.
And I think this stems from my upbringing in California. In California, when I looked at politics and actually started looking at what I was going to be, libertarian really stood out. Because in California, it's kind of live and let live. Mm-hmm. But also, as a business owner, it's kind of hard to be a business owner and not be a conservative, because you have a bottom line.
Sure.
And you have to make profits, and you have employees, and you have to start thinking differently, and you have to start thinking about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always tough to meet somebody that's not a conservative, and they are a business owner, and then when the business is kind of hurting their business, I said, well, there's kind of some principles that you need to live by.
Right.
So
absolutely. Well, you're going to be here all morning. When you come back, I want to talk about where our community goes from here. Are you done with politics? We're going to talk about that with Mario Chavez when we get back right here, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Now, more breaking news and trending talk with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Back with my pal Mario Chavez, former Caddo Parish Commissioner, local businessman, a conservative for the most part.
Absolutely. Now, I still believe that in some personal liberties.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But, that's the way America was founded.
Right. Are you done with politics?
Erin, a lot of people ask that. A lot of people, 'cause obviously we're in the mayor's race. I've had probably, if I had to guess, about 100 people call me and ask me to run again, which it's interesting. We need to do some civics classes in our city. I have to explain to a lot of them, hey guys, like qualifications already over. First off, no, I'm not going to run again. But they don't even know how the whole thing works. Mm-hmm. And I've had, of course, people even in Bossier that say, I voted for you. And I think a lot of people, they don't really know. But at this point, Erin, I'm really enjoying doing what we're doing. We started Shreveport Citizens United a few years back. And we're really making an impact in the community, and I enjoy doing that. And you don't always have to be somebody to be somebody. I've said that a lot. You can do a lot of work behind the scenes. You don't have to have a title.
Right.
And I'm enjoying what we're doing, and we are really helping people. So At this point, unless the angel Gabriel shows up in my living room and says, "Yo, the big man says you need to do it," I think I'm going to hang tight and help good people get elected and help run the city.
Okay, so you are still involved in politics. I know you've helped.
Absolutely.
You're behind the scenes. You're donating money. You're walking neighborhoods, et cetera. Still,
absolutely. Matter of fact, Mayor Arsenault, they appointed me to the Downtown Development Authority, so I sit on the DDA.
Okay.
So I've been doing that now for about 2 years. So we're doing some real good stuff down there. We'll talk about that later, but,
sure.
But I still do that a lot. And then I sit on the committee of 100. So absolutely, It's a steering committee locally to help the city, to help the parish.
Grade Mayor Arsenault on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being he's an exceptional mayor doing everything right.
Well, I think he's actually doing a great job. I really do. And one testament to that would be no current city council people are running against him. If you think about that, that goes to show, and I think once in the recent history, because like I said earlier, I don't really pay attention to politics, or I didn't until I got there. From what I've seen over the last 2 decades, this is the first time the mayor and the city council are actually working together. And I've said this before, although I think he's doing a great job at running the city, at doing what he's doing, I think he does a poor job at tooting his own horn. And what I mean by that is you can drive around and there are things that he is doing, that his administration is doing, but we don't know about it. And I've lived in Southern Hills for almost the entire time I've lived in Louisiana, so I go to the park all the time. For the first time ever, they've redone the asphalt. If you go to Southern Hills Park, I mean, it looks incredible. And it has been just a disarray with potholes that you'll drive your bike into and almost die. Almost for the last 25 years. Now It's incredible. The pool, they're redoing the pool. They've redone the pickleball courts. They've redone the playground. I was running on the running track at Clyde Fent. I don't know if you remember, but when I ran for mayor, I had an entire video showcasing the entire track by the bridge area had fallen into the river. The embankment was gone. There was no more rocks there. That's all built back up, and not only did they just build it back up, but they actually put drainage in there, and they did it right. There's a lot of things that I think his administration is doing, but nobody's hearing about it. So I want them to kind of toot their horn some more, or somebody needs to look around and look at what's going on.
Right. What would you list as our 3 biggest problems right now in the minds of the people that you run into? Because I know you run into a ton of people all day.
Absolutely. Water by far. Water is it. I mean, any civilized society in the world, it starts with water. And he's got some big woes at his feet with the water. And I know they're making inroads. And Brandon Sneed, he's doing a great job. They really are. They're trying. But, man, it's a beast that they're having a hard time to tackle. And a lot of people, they always look at the here and now. We didn't get like this overnight. I mean, unfortunately for Mayor Arsenault, when he won, he took on a huge issue, probably more monumental than he ever anticipated. The water woes have been with us now for decades.
Yes.
And the financial woes to fix those water woes are unimaginable. And we just don't have the money or the population with the disposable income that's going to help us get out of that hole. So it's going to be a feat. But they are making the right inroads. I'm thinking that we having a voice probably need to reach out to the federal government and say, hey, we need some funds, Speaker Johnson, that this is the most important thing that we need in Shreveport right now is some funding to help our water woes for the city of Shreveport.
Part of the problem, when you bring up water, we know that the consent decree, the Department of Justice telling us we got to fix our infrastructure, it was going to be $350 million. It's now over $1 billion. We know we have to bump our water rates up. And the mayor has sat in this room saying, yes, we probably do, but we're not moving forward with it this year. That, for me, is a little bit of a problem because we're never going to raise water rates in an election year. Tell us what it is. We're not going to do it in an election year. I'm honest with you, Erin. We just can't do it. We're going to do it next year. You're hearing them all say, next year, water rates are going up. We need to go up with them now.
I 100% agree with you. We talked about this off the air. People walk around with a $1,000 phone in their pocket, an iPhone, but they're not willing to pay an extra $5 a month to get clean water, for their kids. It's absurd. And if we're willing to pay for the things that we want, then we will have the things that we want. And unfortunately, in politics, you have to navigate between the budget and perception and people's opinion. And that's always tough when it comes to politics is like, how am I appearing to people but simultaneously, how am I running the organization? Politics is hard. It really is.
Absolutely. Keith Burton, Caddo School Superintendent. I just sent him my proverbial "you up" text. He's up. He's going to join us at 6:40. They're having a huge problem getting bus drivers, school bus drivers. He will tell us what they're doing, who he's calling into service. Because if you got a CDL and you work for Caddo Schools, guess what? You're probably driving a school bus these days. We will talk with him coming up in about 10 minutes right here on KEEL.
Now, more breaking news and trending talk with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
All right, we're back. This will determine your future on the show. Okay, right here, Mario Chavez.
Uh-oh.
Saints or Cowboys? Friday night, Saints play the Cowboys preseason.
Man.
Do you prefer one over the other?
Well, Erin, I'm not a sports person, so I don't know how this is going to affect my future on the show, but I will not be watching. I'm assuming they're playing each other. Is that why you're asking?
Yeah, they're playing each other, yeah.
I won't be watching that.
Really?
I just don't like sports.
Really?
And I know that. Now, of course, if my kid was playing, I'm watching. And whatever team he's on, so currently he's on Calvary. I'm rooting for Calvary.
Okay.
But I'm just not a sports guy. Matter of fact, I met the quarterback of LSU one time on my boat. We were on Cross Lake. We were water skiing. And we were out there doing flips and tricks and whatnot. And he comes over there on his jet ski, and he's like, "Man, what is that thing?" And we fly on a hydrofoil. It's like an air chair thing.
Oh, cool.
And we do like 15-foot flips. So he wanted to see it. And he came up, and I said, "Hey, man, I'll teach you how to do it." Because we always try to get new victims on the ski. And he said, "Well, I got a game this weekend, so I can't play." And I thought that sounded weird.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, man, we'll be here next weekend, so come out." And I said, "My name's Mario," and he kind of looked at me with a weird face. And I looked at my friends in the boat, and they said, "Mario, that's the quarterback for LSU." And
you should know him. Yeah.
I said, "Sir, I'm sorry." I said, "I don't watch football."
Right.
So,
That's
he never
funny.
came back though. He never came to ski.
That's funny. That is funny. Bus driver shortage for Caddo Schools. Keith Burton, the superintendent, he's going to join us next right here on KEEL.
Now, more breaking news and trending talk with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
And on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker hotline, we've got Caddo Parish School Superintendent Keith Burton joining us. Keith, Mario Chavez is my guest host this morning. He is in studio, and he may have a few questions for you too. But you're facing a pretty critical school bus driver shortage. How is it manifesting? What's happening with our children that are waiting for buses?
Yeah, we really wanted to talk to the community about what we were facing as well as what just about every school district around us is facing, and there's just not enough bus drivers. We're seeing this also being reflected in parish and city governments. I know, just we here in Shreveport and Caddo Parish know the impact of not having enough CDL drivers to provide basic service. And for us as a school district, one of the basic services we can provide is transportation. So we presently have out of 248 routes that we run each and every day, there are 12 of them without a permanent driver. Now, that doesn't sound too bad because when you look at that, that means, okay, you've got over 95% of your routes covered, but the issue comes in when a driver calls in sick or they've got a doctor's appointment or they have to go out, due to a family emergency. So then you couple that 12 that we have open with possibly 12 more. Well, now we've got 24 routes that aren't covered. And what's been the process for a long time because of restrictions around bus drivers and what state law and bulletins require, we have to ask for volunteers to cover routes. And many times, we're just struggling getting those routes covered. And because of that, I just met with our team and said, enough's enough. Let's stop doing what we've always done. We've got to look at it. This isn't an easy solution, but we've got to do whatever we need to do, not only to get more drivers behind the seats, but we've got to do a better job of communicating with our parents because we all know we've seen online and some of the stories around just frustrated parents. And we always have, transportation issues at the start of school, but this year it seemed to me, to just impact more parents than we should. So we wanted to do something about it.
Do we have children actually waiting on corners longer than normal? Do we have kids not being picked up? What's actually happening?
Yeah, I mean, and they're being picked up. The problem is, how long is it taking to pick them up? And so if you've got, as I've said, another 10 or 15 or 20 routes that we're having to, first of all, allow a school bus driver to finish their original route. And then after they finish their original route, then they're going to go and run another route. That's going to cause that parent and that family a delay. And parents can deal with that if they know it. If they know my bus is going to be 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late. The problem is our parents are out there on time. Our students are waiting. And yet, they have no way of knowing, is my bus, does my bus have a replacement? What time is that replacement coming? Or is it just easier for me to put my child in the car and deliver him to school? So a lot of what we talked about yesterday are ways not only to find more drivers, but communicate with our parents more. And so what we started saying is, first of all, parents, please make sure that you get us your most accurate information, because we can't communicate with you if we don't have your phone number and all of that. But the other thing that we're doing is I've assigned our district staff, because in the past, schools have been the ones communicating with parents about their individual buses. Well, many times by the school gets that information, it's too late, and a parent's already struggling in the afternoon to juggle work. And so what we're going to do is do it much earlier. It's going to come from central office. I'm working with our IT department, our communications team, and transportation to automate that information and send that out early. So,
Keith,
we're doing that.
Keith, good morning, sir. I wanted to ask about that. On the communication piece, how do you guys implement that? Like if we're having an Uber show up at the house, it tells you, hey, your driver's here. How do you guys have the method to communicate with the parents via cell phone? Is there something already there? Or are you guys working on implementing that right now?
Yeah, we have that now, Mario. We're able to, through our student information system, if a child is late to school, if a child has let's say a failing grade, if there's anything that's going on where a parent needs to know, we can notify that parent immediately through our J-Call or J-Text system.
Are you calling in anybody now in the system that has a CDL, maybe a coach who has a CDL because he can drive the bus? Are they all now being brought in to drive school buses now?
Yeah, that was one of the first things that we did. We basically just said, first of all, who do we have in this district who's qualified and licensed? And once we looked through that, we found we have some coaches, paraprofessionals, we have some mechanics, operation employees. And so if they've got that proper credential and they meet the safety standard, then we're going to assign them. Now, I can't force them to do this because they already have another job.
Right.
But I am going to pay them overtime to be able to do that. And we began reaching out to those employees. They were we had a great return rate. And so we're doing that. The other thing we're doing quickly, because I know time's going to run out, is we're going to give parents access. And this kind of goes back to what Mario was saying about tracking an Uber. We have the capability with our GPS technology that's on buses now. We can track a bus as staff. I can see its location. I can see how fast it's going. I can see its progress along the route. We're going to now transition that information over to a parent portal so a parent can see that same thing. If a parent is waiting, they will be able to track, where's bus 242? It's supposed to be here 5 minutes ago. And they will be able to see, oh, I see it. It's down the street on the corner. It'll be here in 5 minutes. And so that's one of the things that we think is going to just better that communication piece with parents and help them be more informed.
Keith, there's an outfit out of Minden, the 1083rd Transportation Company. It's National Guard. I know Trump just passed something, President Trump, for he promotes Freedom Haulers initiative to fast-track military into being 18-wheeler drivers, CDL drivers. I don't know if the parish has looked to that, but I know between you guys and the city trash trucks, there's got to be some type of collaborative effort to get somebody here local to get some more CDL drivers on the road. And we have Diesel Driving Academy right here in Shreveport, and they offer that service, I think, at no charge to citizens that want to get their CDL drivers. So there's got to be a way between you guys and the city that we can implement this and maybe tap some of those guys with the Louisiana National Guard to help us out and help our children.
That's a great idea, and I'll look into that. One of the challenges we face is the fact that everyone is in need of CDL drivers, and what the private sector can pay. I made a comment yesterday. There's not a time I'm driving around Shreveport that a sand truck doesn't pass me. And that, they're making runs all day long, and they're many times making over six figures to drive that truck.
What does a school bus driver make these days?
A school bus driver makes anywhere from $20,000 to $26,000 plus insurance and benefits, which is huge. So if I'm a retiree or if I'm someone that just wants to work part-time, I can run my morning route, have my full day, work the afternoon route, still make $25,000 and be able to have full insurance in retirement. So it is it is something that really should attract many, especially, Mario, as you said, military. I would love to look at many of our veterans in the area because they make incredible, employees working with kids.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are really pushing that. I've got a recruiter who is calling retirees and looking at our other citizens out there. And if anyone's interested, all they have to do is go to caddoschools.org. They can click on careers, and we will get them set up. And by the way, we provide all of the training, and we provide all of the cost for their CDL.
Absolutely.
So everything that we ask is just for them to give us their time.
Keith Burton, Caddo School Superintendent. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thanks,
Always.
Keith.
Thank you all.
You bet. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
And now, let's get back to the show with McCarty in the Morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And on the KEEL app.
Back with my friend Mario Chavez, who is guest hosting this morning.
Good morning.
If you're just joining us, Mike Martindale is no longer with the show. Not our decision. We're still friends. We didn't have a falling out. And because of that, we're going to have some new voices in. So we're going to have different people coming in that matter and care about our community. And you and I have been talking off the air about a lot of things that we're going to get to throughout the morning. But one thing I found interesting was yesterday, and this kind of goes back to politics, with regard to, raising your water fee. At the city council meeting yesterday, there was some discussion about increasing the garbage fee. I bet you could guess who it came from. It came from a council member who's no longer running for office. Surprise, surprise. None of the ones who are currently running for re-election said a word about an increased garbage fee.
The hardest working politician is at his second term.
Yes, exactly. And, when I tell you that we pay $7 a month, I believe is what you pay in Shreveport. $7 a month for your garbage collection. You pay at least $18, maybe $20, depending on what service you have in Bossier. I think it's $18 or $20, maybe more if you have the backyard service where they come to the back. You pay that in Benton. You pay that in almost every community, $20 or a little more. How are we still doing it for $7 a month?
Well, we're subsidizing it, and capitalism always works. And I think the government does a poor job of that. If all we have to do is do market rate pricing and look at what is capitalism doing? What are the private businesses doing? And they're doing this because they have to squeeze out a profit margin, but they have to cover their cost. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that it's got to be somewhere in the realm of $20, because if they're all charging about $20, and they are pulling a profit, so let's say they're pulling at least $5 profit, so it's probably costing about $15. If we're at $7, then we at least need to double what we're charging. And, don't come after me with pitchforks and axes. I'm saying double the rate, but it is what it is. And if we want reliable, well-paid drivers and we want our trash taken out in a timely fashion, we're going to have to pay more.
But you're going to have the old timers, and we got to take a break in about 2 minutes. You're going to have the old timers who say, But that garbage collection used to be free in Shreveport. It was part of what the city did. Now they're charging us.
A lot of things used to be free, Erin, but now you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm. And you absolutely have to think about it. Our garbage trucks were breaking down. A couple of weeks ago, they told me they had a couple of trucks out of service. Now they're all back in service, and now they're having a driver problem. So they're increasing the pay. They're bumping the pay up to $21.78 an hour.
When it was free, diesel was probably less than $1, and now it's around $4. So that should tell you.
Absolutely. And you want garbage collection at your house, or you want to hire your own company?
Correct.
And that's the other problem, is that $7 a month. We got a lot of poor citizens in Shreveport. How are they going to afford it if you bump it up to 10 or 12 or wherever you're going with it? I'm not sure what the plan is, but we will see. When we come back after 7, I want to get back to your list of some of the priorities in Shreveport as you see them. We talked a little bit about the water. I want to come back to that list and see what else is on Mario Chavez's list.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll do that coming up after 7 right here on KEEL.
And now, let's get back to the show with McCarty in the Morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And on the KEEL app.
Back this morning with my friend Mario Chavez, who is in studio guest hosting today. Thank you for doing this. We certainly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anything for Shreveport.
It is, you have been active in our community for, 10, 15 years?
Easy? It's a good 15 years at least.
Mm-hmm. We were talking last hour with you about starting to discuss some of the problems and the issues that face the city. And we talked about water. But you have other things on your list, too, that we really need to focus on. What would be one of the next priorities?
I would, and not exactly in precedence, but tech is a big thing. When I ran for mayor, I ran on a 3-point platform, and it was to clean up the city. Mm-hmm. So it was cleanliness, and it was crime, reduce the crime. But it was increased customer service, because as any business owner has ever had to deal with downtown or city hall, it's rough. It's not user friendly.
Right.
And that customer service goes right hand in hand with technology. And I think we don't have a lot of technology at the city. We're getting some. I mean, Mayor Arsenault has implemented a lot of things, but there's a lot more room that needs to be had. And I think when Keith was down there, he was doing that. Remember the camera guy?
Yes.
But I think Keith did a lot of stuff where he was trying to do it himself as opposed to outsourcing it and looking at what's out there and what's usable. Mm-hmm. So technology, I think, will help out a lot. From what I've seen, there's not a lot of command and control. And I know some city workers are going to throw tomatoes at me, but there's not a lot of trackers in all the vehicles. There's not a lot of ways.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah. I've run across city employees that were doing things during city hours, and of course their boss didn't know where they were at. And this is not reflective of Mayor Arsenault, because this was before he was even mm-hmm. there. But I went up there and asked, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he was just working on a gate in a neighborhood, and it was his own gate,
his own subdivision,
in a city truck and a city employee uniform. And I said, "Wow!" I said, "Well, if he saw his boss do this, then obviously he thinks it's okay, and that's the way that's always been." So for command and control, that just goes to tell you that there is no GPS tracking. There's no command and control. There's not technology. There's not technology to either track employees, to track assets, or to track outcomes. And that's super important. I know we had an entire study done on property standards, on how to make it better. Mm-hmm. And they came together and they paid a company, and that company came down and showed them their woes. Well, they also said that they were going to put a file of complaint online on the city website. It's still not there to this point, to this day.
Really?
Yes, it's not there.
Oh, wow.
And this report was given to them about a year ago. So not just, and the mayor can't do it all. He's got to have the right people around him. But what we do at our company is people, you need technology to help you. You have to put, I'll even tell my AI bot to watch stocks and tell me when a certain stock hits a certain point to let me know so that I can go buy that stock. Something like that you can put on there to say, okay, these are the outcomes from this consulting company that said we need this button placed on here. And the city gave themselves a year to do this, which, obviously government moves super slow. If it was one of my website guys, I'd have it done within a week. Mm-hmm. But okay, let's say it takes them a year, but it's been a year and that button's still not on there.
And putting tracking devices on city vehicles, that's not a huge expense, is it?
No, it's probably a monthly rate of about $20 a month. Now, of course, money fixes all woes in business, and the city is a business. I know I got a lot of grief when I said I wanted to run the city like a business when I was running for mayor. But let's face it, it is a business. Mm-hmm. There's P&Ls, and you have to account for that. And if you don't have enough money, it's hard to do anything. So I'm sure that's what's going on. It's always easier to Monday morning quarterback what's going on at the administration. But if we had more income, which I think help is on the way, like them or not, but the data centers are going to bring huge revenues down here. So I think hopefully with the increase of jobs and income taxes and sales taxes that we'll have some means to help offset these costs. But that's what we need more tech to help them.
And you had another item on your list. We did water, we did tech. I know people when you're around the city talk to you about crime.
That's it, 100%. And again, the money is going to help with that because we have officers that are underpaid, and I see these guys. They're tired. They're out there, and we love them. I mean, as many times as we can. Every time you go out and you're seeing some guys at lunch, some boys in the blue, buy their meal because they're working hard. They're working double shifts, and they are extremely underpaid. And I think tech's going to help them as well. But that's it. It's crime, and it's the perception thereof. But these guys can only do so much with what they have, and we are severely understaffed, and they are underpaid. And I know we have a lot of candidates that are running. They say they're going to fix that, but they don't see what Mayor Arsenault sees because he's behind the scenes. And if you just don't have the money to do it, you just don't have the money to do it.
Right.
And that could be the situation.
We're 175 officers short if you ask them, and then we have another 25 or so out on medical leave or family leave or something like that. So we could be down 200. Now we have implemented, and I really want to hear your opinion about this. We have implemented some technology things, the cameras, the drones we're bringing on. But I had a high-ranking police officer tell me, Erin, that's all well and good, and that's an assist. But those cameras and those drones can't handcuff people. They can't drive them to jail. They can't go testify in court. They can't, help the guys get them in an ambulance if they need to be. We got to have bodies, too.
We do. We definitely need people. And I know we talked to Keith earlier, and we mentioned the Louisiana National Guard, and I'm not saying deploy the Guard, but let's tap those airmen that are about to retire from Barksdale that could work another 10 years in the city. Let's tap these veterans. Let's try to do everything we can and exhaust every resource we can to get more boots on the ground to help offset our tired men and women that are here doing law enforcement.
I heard Chief Smith say last week that he was going to try to bring back retired police officers to possibly man the patrol desk.
Correct.
Where you don't need, you're not on patrol anymore. You know how it all works. You're going to man the patrol desk. But I wonder if those officers who are retired, they can probably go out and get a job in a private company, making way more money than you're going to offer them to come back
Correct.
And man the patrol desk. So that sounds like a great idea, but you're still not giving them the cash that they're going to demand, right?
You're right. And unfortunately, it's this mindset now, and it's super unfortunate, but it was prideful, and I still think it is because obviously I was military. I'm a veteran, so that's why I care so much about law enforcement and the veterans. But there was a time where they really made it hard to be in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys, they said, do I want to go through that grief of dealing with the public and dealing with always being on the lookout for myself and for my own safety? And we need to get away from that. We need to start appreciating those people and teaching our children to appreciate the law enforcement so that it will be that prestigious job to where they want to do it. And it's not about the pay. It's about the pride, and that's what we really need. But look at the private sector. What does the private sector do? Like, for instance, when you can't mow your lawn because you're busy doing whatever your day job is, mm-hmm. well, you hire a contractor. There's a lot of contract outfits that can come out here. At the DDA, we're looking at bringing some guys from New Orleans to help do roaming patrols downtown mm-hmm. To help with that. There's some companies like On Scene Services that are down in New Orleans that they come and they just do the patrolling for when you get in a car wreck. They go on the scene and they actually write up the report so that our local law enforcement are not stuck doing traffic stops and whatnot, but actually out there fighting crime. And we need to look at some exterior when we don't have enough guys. What are the guys doing that's beneficial for fighting crime, and what other outsourced services that we can contract to actually help the guys and augment them? I think we should start looking at stuff like that as well.
Okay. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the mayor's race. You're kind of watching it from above the forest now, and I want to see kind of your thoughts on the candidates, who you think are the front runners, how you think it's all going to shape up. We will talk with Mario about that when we come back right here on KEEL.
And now let's get back to the show with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and on the KEEL app.
Back with my friend Mario Chavez. I want to talk about the mayor's race with you for a minute. We've got a bunch of candidates in the race. It really is a 4-horse race, I think.
I totally agree with you.
Okay. I want to start with the Democrats. You've got Stormy Gage Watts, you're very familiar with. You served on the commission with. From the Democratic side, you've got Tammy Phelps, state representative, also on the Democratic side. Tammy Phelps has Senator Sam Jenkins in her corner. Stormy Gage Watts has Sheriff Henry Whitehorn in her corner.
Very interesting development, because arguably those are the two most predominant Democrats in our area, two most, I would say, powerful Democrats in our area, both picking one person. So it's really become a two-person race for the Democratic side, almost if like there was a Democratic primary here in Shreveport for the mayor's race.
Who wins that? Who wins between those two ladies?
Honestly, I think it's going to be Stormy.
Okay.
I really do.
Does she actually live in the city? That's the big question. Or is she putting mama's address down?
So Erin, that's news to me. I have no idea, honestly, because I don't know where Stormy lives. At last I heard she lives off of Pines Road.
Okay.
But I've heard that about two other candidates, that they don't live in the city, but I hadn't heard that about Stormy yet. But Stormy did just come out that she had a lot of local pastors endorse her. I don't know if you saw that.
Okay.
I mean, it was a good list of like 10 to 15 different local pastors that are endorsing her. But ultimately, I think she comes out, and I like Phelps. I like Rep. Phelps a lot. But I think Stormy has been here a lot longer, and I think has a lot more name recognition. And if we look at it from a standpoint of the younger population, I think they're gonna remember Stormy's name before they remember Phelps when they go to vote, if they're not seasoned voters.
Right.
So I have a feeling that she'll get it when it comes to that.
Okay. Now, the Republican side, you've got the incumbent, Mayor Arsenault, and John Paul Young.
Oh, yeah.
Making some waves.
I will say this. John's ground game is amazing. You know, his social media, he is really making some inroads into cleaning up the city, which I love. And, of course, the mayor has been cleaning up the city. I don't think in the last 2 decades I've ever seen as many guys as I've seen within the last 3 years on the side of the road with road guard vests picking up trash. You know, so my hat's off to Mayor Arsenault, but I think Commissioner Young is really going to take some Republican votes away from Mayor Arsenault. And he's getting a lot of headway. I'm hearing a lot of people reach out to me like, hey, what do you think about this John Paul Young guy? And, of course, he's a colleague, and Stormy was a colleague back when I served on the commission. So I like Young a lot. I think the incumbent always has the lead, and I have a feeling that Arsenault is going to pull ahead. I really do. But I think that John is definitely going to hurt him on the Republican vote, and that could be the scenario that pans out when it gets to the end, when we see who are the two front runners that make it to the runoff, and we'll see how much of the vote that John's going to take away from Tom, and then how much is going to go back to Tom when it's in the runoff, if there is a runoff.
Any chance that Tom wins this outright? He's optimistic and thinks he could win it outright. I have my doubts about that.
Look, when you're running a campaign, it's always we're doing amazing. I mean, like I had a wise business guy tell me this. He said, when somebody asks you how you're doing, even if you're doing bad, even if you can't pay the bills, that things are going great. And it was good advice, because everybody wants to be on the winning team. So if you say, oh, my business is hurting, it's doing poor,
right?
Yeah, they're going to be like, well, maybe I shouldn't go there. Maybe I shouldn't hire him because the work's not going to be as good. Is he going to charge me more? No, things are great. We're going full speed ahead, and we're going to win this. So I don't blame him for saying that, but he could be seeing some numbers that could be saying something. And like I said a moment ago, I think he's doing a good job. So hopefully that will reflect come November.
When we come back, I want to talk to you about credit cards and debit cards and fees I get charged. You're an expert in that field. I'm really glad you're in that seat. You gotta explain all that to me because there's this new law that's supposed to help me, and it really doesn't. And I want to hear all about it.
Absolutely.
That's coming up next right here on KEEL.
Save on summer favorites at Rayleigh's Bel Air and Nob Hill. Enjoy weekly sales on fresh peak season produce and exceptional meats and seafood. And discover a wide variety of fantastic flavors to go from our deli and bakery. Savings made simple. Only at Rayleigh's Bel Air and Nob Hill.
Now, let's get back to the show with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and on the KEEL app.
I got the exact text that I just asked you. We're back. My friend Mario Chavez is in studio, and you run a company called MercaTech.
Yes.
Credit card, heavily involved in...
It's called Merchant Services.
Merchant Services.
It encapsulates the movement of money for businesses.
Mm-hmm. I got to check. We have new law in Louisiana where you can't be charged an upcharge or a fee for using a debit card. So a friend texted me the exact question I asked you earlier this morning. I've called out a couple of restaurants for trying to charge a fee on a debit card, and then the manager comes back and says, oh, no, we're not charging that on a debit card, but you get a discount if you pay cash.
Correct.
That's how they're getting around it.
Right. Well, so let's break it down. First off, it's not a new law. It's actually been a law for 10 years. So Senator Durbin up in Congress, he passed this a long time ago, that it was illegal to surcharge on debit. Now, let's break that down. Surcharge, sir. The very word sir means to add to.
Okay.
Just like your surname. If you're filling out your passport, what is your surname? So you put your last name on there, your additional name. So sir is in addition to. So if you were to advertise a price of, let's say, $10, and then they bust out their debit card and you charge them $10.50, you are surcharging, adding an additional fee. However, and it can be semantics, but this is what it is. If the price is advertised as $10.50, and then you bust out cash and they offer you a discount and you only have to pay $10 if you're paying cash, that is not a surcharge. They're actually removing it. So there's three things that business owners can do to recoup the cost of credit card processing. And a lot of people have this misconception. I've seen this. They say that it doesn't cost money to accept a debit card. That's asinine. I have no idea why they say that. It 100% costs money to move money over the debit network. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, the transaction fee costs more. When you go to the ATM and you pull cash out, and you have to pay $3.50 a surcharge to pull out your cash, that same network is what you use when you're paying with your debit card. So the business owner absolutely has to pay for that debit card. Mm-hmm. So what business owners can do is either A, surcharge, advertise their price, and if you pay with a card, charge you more to offset the cost. And now surcharging on debit cards is illegal, or has been. When I say that it's always been illegal, what Act 751 allowed the Attorney General's office to do is fine small business owners or businesses to do this. It allocated a fee, an amount. That's what the legislator does. They passed the executive branch to say that you can charge X, and then this is how you do it. So they implemented a way for the Attorney General's office to make this fine, and they dictated how much that fine is going to be. So like I said, it's always been illegal. Senator Durbin did this in Congress 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. However, the state of Louisiana did not have a way to fine people for it. So now they do. So the laws haven't changed. It's just that now they have a mechanism on how much and how to do it. So now a customer can reach out to the Attorney General's office and complain if they see that a business is in fact surcharging. However, if they are dual pricing, meaning showing two different prices, and dual pricing has been around for 30 years. When you drive down the street, you see a gas station, you see that sign flip between card price and cash price.
Yes.
If they advertise two different prices, let's say a gallon of gas is $1 on a card and a gallon of gas is 95 cents with cash, that is dual pricing. That is perfectly legal. Now, the misconception is in your brain when you say, well, I'm pulling out my debit card and I'm paying more. No, you're paying the advertised price. So as long as they advertise it and they don't advertise one price and then charge more, that is completely legal. So you can either A, offer a cash discount, you can advertise the price and then charge less if they're paying cash, which is perfectly legal, or you can advertise two prices, a card price and a cash price, regardless if it's a debit card or a credit card. If the card price is advertised as X and you bust out whatever card you're going to pay with and you pay that, then that is perfectly legal as well. It is only when they advertise a price of let's say $10, and then you pull out your debit card, and then they charge you $10.50 that you can report them to the Attorney General's office, and they can fine that small business $500.
Okay, dumb questions, and there's a lot of people thinking like me today. My debit card is just like I'm paying you cash, though, right? You get the money right away from my account.
Absolutely not.
You don't.
No, because they had to pay for that point of sale system. They have to pay for internet. They have to wait a day for it to go into their bank the very next day, or maybe their bank does a 2-day delay.
Okay.
So no, it's not just like cash. Cash is king.
And there's a fee on swiping the debit card that the business pays.
Yes, absolutely, and it's about 1.5%. So that right there should tell you that it's not cash. They have to. A business is paying about 1.5% on debit cards.
But it's a different fee on a credit card.
Absolutely,
it's higher.
It could be as high as 3.5% or 4%, depending on who their credit card guy is.
Okay.
In all seriousness,
but the gas pump then is a myth then, because we can't pay cash at the pump.
Correct. So, but you can pay cash if you go inside. So if you go inside and get your coffee and you have to, wait in line and do that. So it is a convenience too. It's a convenience to pay at the pump, because you've seen it when like your car doesn't work and you have to go inside. It says, please see cashier.
Sure.
And then you say no, you get in your car and you drive away.
Right.
Because you don't want to do that. So you paying that extra nickel is worth it to sit outside, get your stuff and roll out and leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. I just don't like it.
But they're trying to recoup their costs. And when it comes down to it, business owners are struggling. Everything is going up. And this was a way to reward their cash customers to keep their prices down.
Do you pay with cash? I mean, do you?
No, heck no, I want my rewards. But unfortunately, now I have to pay for my rewards. But no, I pay with my card.
Okay. And always get a reward card.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you're leaving money on the table.
So first off, why are you using a debit card anyway? It's extremely unsecure. So if you have a debit card and somebody gets a hold of that, they can take all your money out of your bank account. If somebody steals your credit card, you have no risk. You call your credit card company, they put all the money back, they undo all the charges. You're perfectly fine, and you get money on your money.
So you're never using a debit card for anything?
Absolutely not. I never use a debit card.
Okay. Do you even have one?
Of course I do. But if I have
for
to
emergency?
For emergencies, if I have to go get cash out of the ATM and it's after hours.
Right.
But no, I use a credit card.
For everything?
For everything.
Okay. Good point. I may have to switch. I may have to burn that debit card, something. Anyway, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Now, more breaking news and trending talk with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
All right. Mario Chavez is in studio with me. There's a meeting today, 4 to 8 p.m. at the convention center to talk about data centers, an open house. Amazon's hosting. They'll have all the people there. You want to ask questions. You've been sitting back kind of watching what's going on with the data centers, 3 of them coming our way. Are you for them, against them, mid-ground? Where's your brain on these?
Erin, it's mid-ground is nice to say, but I think I'm more for them than mid-ground, just because we need an influx of revenue in the city. Like as we stated in a couple segments ago, we can't afford to pay for the infrastructure, for the bus drivers, for the police officers. We need something. And if you've ever done anything with construction, if the budget was deemed $100,000, you just double it. It's going to be $200,000. So I knew when they said that Amazon plant was going to cost $12 billion, that it was probably going to cost 24. And sure enough, they just came back and said it's going to be $18 billion now. Mm-hmm. And that amount of revenue just sprinkled amongst our economy is going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. And I know that the people are going to scream, well, what about environmental? What about the offset cost of that? And I think that they've done their due diligence, and we shouldn't have to worry about that. We have people that are worried about that, and I don't think what people are thinking with the water consumption and with the electricity, and what President Trump just passed, that they have to create their own electricity. I don't know if you heard about that.
Saw that.
That just came out. So that's huge in itself. So not only is that not a concern of us anymore, thank you, President Trump, but exactly the opposite. It's going to actually push power into our infrastructure when it comes to the electric grid. So now the real question is going to be the water consumption. Of course, that's my biggest thing, because I love Cross Lake. We can get in the whole I-49 Cross Lake Bridge argument right there. But I've always said, Cross Lake is one of our biggest assets, and we need to save it at all costs. But I think if they're going to have a closed-loop system and the water is going to stay within, and it's not going to be just using 1 million gallons a day like what we thought at first, then why not? Then why not have this data center here to create these jobs here as opposed to somewhere else?
Putting them in areas where there are residences nearby, those folks are not happy, especially the State Line Road folks who live in a rural area. They've lived there for years and years, and now they're going to have this big monstrosity across the street from them. That would be a concern if that was your home.
Absolutely. And Erin, this is a tough one because we have fought this zoning rights argument for decades, and we want people to have a free reign on their own property. But simultaneously, it's hard to say, I want to do whatever I want to do on my property, but then you can't on your property. So when they legally buy that land, why can't they do what they want to do on their land when you're doing what you want to do on your land? Now, granted, I understand it doesn't need to harm you environmentally, and we have LDH or LDQ, whatever. They're the ones checking on that. But if it's not going to hurt you environmentally, then it's tough to say it's good for you but not good for them.
Right. Okay. When we come back, I'm going to make Mario talk sports again. Kind of a philosophical argument about the Little League World Series. We're going to do that when we come back. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Now, more breaking news and trending talk with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
I am back with my pal. Gosh, it's kind of going by fast.
It's gone by super quick.
Mario Chavez is in studio. You have a knowledge of a lot of things, but sports is not your thing.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You have kids that play sports, correct?
Absolutely.
I love watching the Little League World Series. These are 11, 12-year-old boys. Some of them are girls. They have a couple girls sprinkled in. And they play, and they are playing their hearts out, and they're having the time of their lives. And I remember my discussions years and years ago with Robert J. Wright. He used to really hate this because he thought these kids are being exploited. And ESPN and the networks and ABC, they're all making millions of dollars on the backs of these kids who don't get a nickel. But these kids are having the time of their life.
They're really enjoying their I don't know. I love Robert. I get to see him every now and then at Two Johns. Shout out to Robert. But no, they're having the time of their life, and they don't care about money. They're not worried about paying bills. I think if anyone's being exploited, it's when the parents have to pay to go watch their kids.
Oh, yes.
That's my point of contention. When I go to Bird and I have to pay to watch my kid play on the soccer field, of which I already paid hundreds of dollars to outfit him and get him training and whatnot, or paying for D1. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to go pay to watch him?
Yeah.
He's the star. I should get to... I don't think they make Michael Jordan go, his parents pay to go watch him play.
Yeah, should get a free pass.
Yes.
Hey, Robert thought that some of the money should go into scholarships for these kids. Put some of the money into a fund so that when these kids want to go to college, they have money sitting there. But you can't do that because they're not professional athletes. They're amateurs. And anyway, but should Little League World Series kids get some NIL money if they make it?
No, I think if anything, maybe some money back to the school, or don't make the parents pay for them to join the sport. If ESPN is making that much money off them, then they should at least outfit the children and pay for the fees or the dues to that school to allow them to play.
Yeah, it's just fun to watch. The kids are having a blast. I mean, they really are having a good time. I think we have a couple of U.S. teams still in the running, and you have, I think the team from Panama is doing well. But I watch it. I just love seeing children having a blast.
It's what it's about. It really is.
It really is. Kids learn so much from sports, camaraderie, gamesmanship, sportsmanship. They learn a lot.
My son is currently on the Calvary football team, and he had an injury. And, we had to teach him, look, you're still on a team. Just because you can't play doesn't mean you're not going to put on the uniform and sit on the sideline and root on your team, because they're looking at you, and the fact that you're supporting them, they're appreciating that. And that's what a team's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up after the top of the hour, I want to talk a little bit about garbage fees again. We mentioned it a little bit, but it was a big topic yesterday before the city council. They're talking about, are we paying enough in Shreveport for our garbage collection? Because all of us who live in Shreveport, our garbage collection's been late. It's been slow getting to us. Part of it is, well, the vast majority of it right now is they don't have enough drivers. So they're bumping up the pay for the drivers, which we'll tell you more about that. And they're trying to figure out if they need to raise the fee. But we all know they ain't going to raise no fee in an election year. Never going to happen. So when will it happen? We will have that coming up after 8 o'clock right here on KEEL.
And now, let's get back to the show with McCarty in the Morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And on the KEEL app.
Okay, a little history lesson. Mario Chavez is in studio with us. And I need to explain again, if you're just joining us and perhaps you missed our explanation yesterday or earlier today, Mike Martindale is no longer with the show. He is still a friend of mine. I consider him a dear friend. We did not have a falling out. This was not my decision.
He's alive and well.
He's alive and well. I killed him off yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah, that was... don't say no longer with us.
Yeah.
That's the wrong thing to say.
Wrong thing to say. Mike is still very much alive and well and kicking, and we'll be doing lunches, and he's going to be fine. He will be fine. I'm going to miss him, but I'm having some different voices come in. I want to hear from different people around our community. Today, it's Mario Chavez, former Caddo commissioner. You were a candidate for mayor, but first off, you're a businessman.
Yes. So, Erin, it's funny you say that. When I didn't win the mayor's race, and, God's plan is always perfect, so I'm glad I didn't. Hats off to Mayor Arsenault. That guy's busy all the time, and I get to relax and be with my family now. But a lot of people were asking me, like, well, what now? What are you going to do now? And I'm like, well, guys, I have a job. And they're like, what's your job? And I said, well, I own a company. And a lot of people never knew what I did for a living, and they thought my commission salary, which is only... I think it's $1,400 a month.
Something like that.
Right. You can't live off that.
Right, exactly.
So, no, it's been the business, and I've been doing this for 22 years.
And you tell us what you do.
Sure. I own a company. It's called McCarty, and we do merchant services, which unless you own a business, nobody ever knows what that means. But we facilitate the movement of money for businesses. So whether it be a point-of-sale system at a restaurant, like if you go to Shane's and you see the guys ordering food and they print the receipt in the kitchen and they make the food and bring it to you, then you check out and pay with your credit card. If you got to go to the hospital and pay your medical bill, we do EMR integrations where we set that up. If you got to pay retail stores like a pawn shop, we set up credit card terminals, anything that a business needs to take money from their customer.
Okay. Gosh, that's somebody smart set that up. Who did it for you?
Well,
I'm joking. I'm messing with you.
Got some good employees.
Seriously, what would you have done if you'd won mayor? You got people that would run the company?
I have an amazing team.
Okay.
I've been blessed, and over the years, so when I was on the Caddo Parish Commission, they were pretty much running the show, my guys, and I have an amazing team, and it afforded me the availability to go help the parish. And for 8 years, my focus was really on Caddo Parish. It was really not on my job. Matter of fact, I actually lost money, I think, going to do the work of the people. But like I said, God took care of me, and it all worked out. And, I tried to run for mayor, and it didn't work out. But now the business is really expanding, and we've grown to other states. We're
going to talk about the garbage fees for the city of Shreveport in just a minute. But I'm going to ask you an inside baseball story.
Absolutely.
A question. And you tell me what's really happening. If you feel comfortable doing it. I don't know if you do or not. When 6 or 7 commissioners, let's say 5 or 6, okay, go to a conference in Hawaii that's geared toward Western states. Is that a vacation? Are they really working for the parish? Tell the truth.
So, Erin, it all depends on the person.
Okay.
It really does. And I can say this because my first time going to travel to go somewhere, I went to this conference, and I think it was in California. And I was at every meeting. I was like, just, and I didn't necessarily see all my colleagues, but I remember seeing one walk in, and he went to the beach.
Oh.
And I remember, like, he showed up like a day later, and he walked into the beach, and you know, I didn't know how the cow ate the cabbage, and I was just thinking, because I was military, you know, I was thinking somebody was watching me, but
Sure.
But you self-manage. I mean, realistically, and I didn't know how that operated. Like, I'm so used to like being told what to do from being in the military that I didn't know what classes to go to, what to learn about, you know, where to be. So I did everything because I thought I had to. So like, I was like, well, how can I be at 3 different courses and they're all in the same hour? But I was like, well, I'm gonna go to the ones that I want to go to. So I was there like 8 hours a day, and then I learned some of them use it as a vacation. They really do, and it's hard because I'll see on the news or on social media that people lump all politicians together, like, oh, you know, they're all bad. You know, there's actually some really good ones, and we have some really good ones here. But, you know, there's always bad apples in everything, in every profession. So, yes, a lot of them do use it as a vacation.
Especially if they're bringing a spouse with them and all that good stuff.
Oh, 100%. And then, but then likewise, just because they're bringing a spouse doesn't mean that they're going on vacation too, because, you know, that may be their only time away and their wife wants to go. And if they're footing the bill for their wife and, you know, the government is already paying for that hotel, you know, what are you going to, no, you can't bring your wife? But
do we really, in this age where the internet is so prevalent, do we really need to send 5 or 6 Caddo Parish commissioners to Hawaii?
No, not at all, Erin. I think there should always be maybe like the president, the acting president, or the vice president. I think there should be a representative there, because when you have a seat at the table, you get more done. And when we need stuff to trickle down from the feds or from the state, we do need representation there, because let's face it, friends like to do business with friends. So you need to be there in person to make those relationships and build those inroads. However, do we need to send all 7, all 12? No, not at all.
Okay. I was just curious. I'm waiting on. I'm going to send the information in to get the expenses, how much we spent on that Hawaii trip, just to find out, you know, who all went, how much did they spend? Because I think the hotel rooms were $350 a night, which is kind of pricey. But it's Hawaii. I get it.
But let's do even more. Let's go even deeper. Let's not just say how much was spent, but how much was done, i.e., show me a metrics on what you guys learned and then implementation. Because in any business, you want to first, okay, you're going to implement something new, and then you're going to track that metrics to see 6 months down the road or 12 months down the road. How did that turn out? So first off, what did you learn down there and how are you going to implement it? And then set a timer for 12 months to go check back to see, was it actually worth it? Was all that money that we checked to see that they spent worth it? And you won't know that immediately, but over time, then you can build metrics to say, yeah, it was worth it.
But the commission, before you even, passed a measure when they were caught in a big scandal of they spent so much money traveling. They put some rules in place where we had to come back and report. We had to do reports.
Myself and Stephen Jackson actually did that.
We don't hear reports.
Right.
Where's the report?
We actually made it to where, because before Stephen and I, you could go wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted, and spend whatever you want. But we made it to where you could only go to 3 different conferences. And if you wanted to go to something else, you had to go before the entire body and plead your case to say why you wanted to do this.
Do they do any reports? Should they be?
I think they should be. But here's the deal. Who do they answer to?
Right.
So we need to be demanding those reports. We the public. There is no boss, and that's the misconception, because people think like there should be somebody down there that's making sure that they're doing what they're doing. That's our job as the public, as the voting body, to make sure that they're doing a good job and doing our job.
Right.
And if they're not, then it's time to replace them.
If you live in one of those commissioners' districts that went to Hawaii, you need to be emailing them and see their report on Hawaii.
Yeah. Find out what they learned.
What'd you learn?
And then put it to the test in 12 months and see, did they actually implement that?
Did you learn about volcanoes and how to handle the volcano problem in Shreveport? I'm sorry, I'm being snide.
It's big. It's an epidemic.
It's a big problem. Yeah. Those landslides we have. We have a lot of landslides. I'm sorry, I'm being really bad now. We're going to talk about a garbage fee when we come back. Mario Chavez is going to weigh in on that. You get what you pay for is kind of what he says.
Amen.
He's a businessman. We'll talk with him about that next, right here on KEEL.
Now, more breaking news and trending talk with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Back with my pal Mario Chavez, and a little history on the garbage fee, which we didn't have a garbage fee in this town for a long, long time. It was part of what the city did. They picked up garbage and the city covered the cost. Well, 20 years ago or so, maybe not quite that long, the city decided we needed to start charging a fee.
Probably when diesel went from 50 cents to $3.
Right, exactly. And we were losing money big time on it.
Yes.
And we actually did backyard pickup. They'd come back to the back of your house. If you put it out by the back of the kitchen, they'd pick it up back there and move it up and to the truck and then bring the can back. They started charging $7 a month. At the time, people ranted and they were not happy. That's something government does. You're supposed to do that. Well, we couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't afford it anymore. Well, now we're to the point where we have a shortage of drivers. They're trying to raise driver pay to $21.78. I think the mayor announced yesterday, going to bump it up $2 an hour to $21.78, which is still not a great wage, to be quite honest. You can't buy a house on that.
No, but we have to. We have to either keep the drivers we have or entice other drivers to come on board.
Right. You're a businessman. Most other communities are paying about $18 a month to $20 a month for garbage collection. How the heck do you operate a system like that at $7 a month?
You don't. And you can't. So unfortunately, we're going to have to at least double that. It's going to have to be in the realm of $15. And the public is just going to have to say, listen, I can't complain every day. I can't complain when it's been 3 days. Because we all see it. We see the Facebook messages. They're mad at the city. Well, guys, if you want it, you have to pay for it. So it can't be $7. If it is $7, it may be here next week. If you want it here this week on time, we're going to have to bump it up to $15. And, of course, this is where the city council and the mayor are going to have to make some tough choices. And it's election season, so this is not the time to make those tough choices. But hopefully after November or after December, that Mayor Arsenault is able to make those tough choices for the betterment of all of us. Right.
Because if he is reelected, he will be then mayor where he doesn't have to worry about another election.
Correct.
He can kind of do things a little differently than he's had to do while you're facing a new election. You got to kind of be a little careful on things you do, don't you? Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one reason why Commissioner Young mentioned when he was running that he's only going to run for one term, so that he's going to try to get in there and do that. Now, whether or not he gets there and does that, I don't know. But I know that Mayor Arsenault will be able to, hopefully, if he makes it through re-election, which I believe he will be able to make those tough choices that are the betterment of everybody, because he has all the data at his hand and says, I have to make these choices for the betterment of everybody.
What do you suggest as a way because I know we have a program for folks who are struggling to pay their water bill, who are impoverished in our community, and there's going to be those who say, doubling my garbage bill, I can't afford it. I cannot afford that. There's going to be that element in our community. Should we have some sort of government program for those who need help paying their garbage bill too, like we do with the water bill? Or is that one of those things you just can't, because we need everybody contributing to pay for it?
Personally, I think we need everybody contributing. I mean, I really do. But it's also it's hard to Monday morning quarterback this, because we need to look at the raw data and see how many people are actually hurting. Because it's one thing to say, I don't want to pay for garbage, but then you have a brand new iPhone, 17 out? You're carrying that in your purse or pocket, but saying you don't want to pay an additional $7 for the cleanliness of your city, your neighborhood. So I think we need to look at some data to make those tough choices, and that's where Mayor Arsenault is going to have to, after election, make those tough choices.
And this is a bigger philosophical problem, a question I ask of you. Do we do too much like that? Do we do too much free giveaways, free money from the government, free handouts to people?
Absolutely. Erin, look, when I was on the commission, it was the strangest phenomenon. When I first got elected, I had people calling me, people I've never met in my life, and they were asking me for money, and they would tell me about these organizations that they had. And I didn't have a lot of money, but I'd write them a check for like $25 and or $50. And I was like, you're helping people, and I'd send them a check. And then one day somebody pulled me aside and said, Mar, I'm not asking you for your money. I'm asking you for parish money. And I was like, well, I can't give you parish money.
Right.
And of course, then I got into NGO, non-government organizations, and I started seeing, to the tune of $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a year that we give away. And I said, wow, wait, never mind. I guess we do. I was like, there's a whole application process. And I knew nothing of NGOs before I got into politics. And yes, a lot of people now have the misconception like, well, why doesn't the government do it? And guys, the government is us. It's us. So if we give all the money away to all these programs, then we don't have any money for infrastructure, for trash pickup. So it's going to come to a point where simultaneously we have to tighten our belt on the programs and the things that we're doing, and we need to quantify, are they doing a good job, or maybe give them less, because we have a sole obligation for things like roads, bridges, police, law enforcement, trash pickup, water, the things that a city and a government should be doing. We should get back to that and look at how do we do that more efficiently, and how do we use our resources for that, as opposed to all these programs where we may be doing duplications of services.
Okay. I'm going to talk to Mario when we come back. I haven't told him this yet, so I'm going to tell him right now, live on the radio. I want to hear about the last movie you saw. Can we do that when we come back?
Absolutely.
I hear it was a good one.
It was great.
We'll see. That's coming up right here on KEEL.
Now, more breaking news and trending talk with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Back this morning with my pal Mario Chavez. Gosh, it's flying by.
Super fast.
Unbelievable. I have to ask you, just a little short segment here. Do you do the movies much? Do you go to like the theater?
I'm a big movie buff. So no, I don't like sports, but I love some movies. We go to movies all the time.
Do you? And your last movie you saw was
Spider-Man.
The new Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
How was it?
It was incredible. It was probably, I think Megan looked over and probably 20 minutes into it. She said, this may be the best Spider-Man yet.
Really?
Yes. It was great.
How crowded are you finding the theaters? Every time I go, there's nobody in there.
It was actually, the reason that we went this last weekend is because for the first week when Spider-Man came out, I couldn't get a seat.
Really?
It was packed. And look, I'll give it up to Tinseltown. They've really done some inroads to make the place look great, because the bathrooms have been atrocious. I remember when I was a commissioner, because it was in my district, I was like, I need to write these people and tell them, like, hey, this place is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's great now. I mean, it was super clean. The bathrooms smelled good. It looked nice.
They've cleaned it up.
Absolutely.
They definitely have. I saw Odyssey in the movie theater. That's the last one I saw. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's a pretty good movie.
It's great. The effects, incredible.
Unbelievable.
And it's long, too.
Yes.
Pack a lunch.
Absolutely. Pack a lunch. Be sure you get big popcorn. Don't get the small one. You're going to need the big one. But I love movies. I love to go. And I'm worried because there are not too many people in there these days.
They're coming back. It was pretty packed. We even stayed afterwards and played some video games.
Did you really?
We did. We had a blast. Now, movie hack, do you get where they deliver the popcorn to your chair?
I haven't done that yet.
You're not living.
I order it ahead of time where I pick it up.
Oh, don't do that. Like, pay the extra $2. They'll bring it to you. Yeah, and you look like a king. All the people around you are like, how did they bring you popcorn? It's only $2, guys.
Wow.
And then you don't have to stay in that line. That line is wild.
Wow. Well, I did have one time where I ordered it ahead of time, and they thought I ordered it to my seat. So I went and picked up my order, and then when I got to my seat, they brought another one. So I had two. And I was like, oh, well, I already did this. And he goes, well, I can't take this back. So here you go. So
did you eat it all or did you share?
I shared. I shared. Well, not the snack, not the candy. I took the candy myself. I'm a chocolate-aholic. I want to talk to you about some health things because you have something you brought in this room with you today. It's a big orange thing.
Oh, it's my grapefruit.
I have to talk to you about your grapefruit when we come back. He brought a grapefruit with him. I thought, did you bring me a present? No, he carries a grapefruit around with him.
It's my breakfast. It's my breakfast.
We have to ask him about it when we come back. 101.7 FM, 710.
And now, let's get back to the show with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. And on the KEEL app.
Okay, Mario Chavez. First off, you came in with 2 cups. What's in each cup? Oh,
yeah. Well, one's water and one's coffee.
Okay, I'm good with that. Then you came in with this big orangish thingy. What the heck is that?
It's my grapefruit.
Okay. So you eat a whole grapefruit every day.
Every day. And it's always interesting because people always ask me, like, what do you put on? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
You don't put sugar on it?
No, why would you put sugar on it? No,
so how are you going to eat that in a minute? I
was going to peel and just eat it, You're
going to peel it like I would peel an orange?
Yes.
And then eat it. It's sour, Mario.
No, not really. It's good.
Is it?
I think so.
But that's the only thing you eat until noon.
Yes.
Explain what you're doing, because you're in really good physical condition.
Yeah.
You work out all the time.
I'm lucky enough to be blessed to Megan Chavez, and she owns Prepped Up Meals, so I get healthy food all the time. But in the morning, what I've realized, and everybody's different. So like, this is one thing people always ask, like, what do you do? Listen, like, you got to listen to your body. Your body will tell you. But first off, sugar's horrible. So I would never recommend to anybody sugar.
Right.
Sugar, I think, is what's really killing America. But I'll eat the grapefruit in the morning because it's a thermogenic. It actually burns fat.
Really?
And I learned this back from the Atkins diet. I think in my 20s, I did the Atkins diet where you eat a lot of butter and a lot of meat and you stay away from carbs. But to kind of jumpstart the burning of the fat it calls for a grapefruit. And I realized when I would eat the grapefruit, I would lose fat even faster because of the thermogenics of the grapefruit. So much so, there's actually medication that you cannot take or you can't eat grapefruit if you're taking that medication. Because it'll burn through that as well, cholesterol medicine.
Yes.
So if you take that medicine and you eat grapefruit, shouldn't that burn through the cholesterol as well?
Right.
That seems like common sense.
But does that fill you? Is that satisfying?
So
for
that's
you?
part of the point too. Like, if you want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. Like, I don't think humans were made to eat all day long, to snack all day long. Because back in the day, we used to be chasing the gazelle in the woods.
Yes.
So, if you actually go to a calorie deficit, and I eat a lot. I mean, my wife can tell you. So, like, I am by no means in a calorie deficit because come noon till midnight, I've probably eaten 4,000 or 5,000 calories.
Wow.
I mean, I eat a lot.
But you work out for easy an hour a day, right?
Easily 2 hours a day.
2 hours
Easily
a day.
2 hour day. And it all comes down to, like, our health. We are blessed with our health. I remember I had knee surgery 2 years ago, and I went to my gym, and I had to crutch upstairs because they don't have an elevator at my gym, and I had to go upstairs to row. And it was okay because it was temporary. But I remember going upstairs and crutching all the way upstairs, rowing, and crutching back downstairs and thinking, you know what, I need to honor God with my body because, he gave me this body, and some people don't have 2 arms, 2 legs. Some people, they don't have their health. And right now that I have my health, I need to give 100% every single day to thank him with what I have.
If you were to give one piece of advice to somebody who is struggling with that, they don't exercise, maybe they're overweight, maybe they have, some health issues starting to bubble up, what would you say the first thing they should do?
Cut out sugar, 100%. Cut out sugar.
Okay.
And you will see the biggest change because you will actually be shocked at how many food items have sugar in them, from sodas to even tomato sauce. Like, you're eating spaghetti, there's sugar in there. And, of course, that's the first thing because there's a lot more down the road, but sugar is the first thing. How
do you find it in, like, you have to read the ragu bottle and find out and find the one that has the least sugar?
So first off, stop shopping in the center of the grocery store.
There you go.
Stay on the exterior.
Make your tomato sauce out of real tomatoes.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And stop buying the jars of it.
Right.
And stuff like that. It's a little bit, but there'll be those that'll say we only have 30 seconds or so. There'll be those that say, well, that's more expensive. It really isn't if you're careful.
Look at your medical bill. That's really expensive.
Great point. Mario Chavez, our guest today. Appreciate you. We got another segment coming up where
Absolutely.
I'm going to surprise you. How's that?
Let's do it.
All right. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
And now let's get back to the show with McCarty in the morning on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and on the KEEL app.
I hate asking you this question because this is going to sound like, oh, okay, I have a Hispanic guy in here, so I'm going to ask him Hispanic stuff.
Hey, go for it.
You're okay with that?
I'm 100%.
Okay. I was looking at some demographic data the other day about Shreveport and Bossier. And I found something. Shreveport's losing population while Bossier's growing. But the demographic data showed that Shreveport's 4% Hispanic, which I thought that's about right. That's about what I would think. And then when I looked at the numbers for Bossier, I almost flipped a gasket. 13% of Bossier residents are Hispanic.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, let's talk about this. As a Hispanic, if you look official and you knock on the door, we're not answering. So there's probably a lot more than 4% in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yes,
I got you.
yeah.
Okay. Well, are folks moving to Bossier, Hispanic, or is it Barksdale? What is it?
No, well, shoot. First off, Bossier has the best Mexican restaurant ever, La Habita Marisca.
La Habita Marisca.
Yes.
Okay. Never heard of it.
because you would look abnormal if you went in there.
What? Really?
Oh yeah, it's connected to a carniceria, and
That's a grocery store, right?
yes, it's a meat market.
Okay.
And it's where you go to get all your your things that you can't get normally at like Kroger.
Okay. What do you order there? What do you get there?
Oh, I love getting like the Baja redfish style Veracruz. It's like an entire redfish with his head still on, looking at you like, "Don't eat me, Erin."
When are we going?
Hey, we can go today if you want. And it's delicious, but like we'll go together and you'll get a pass.
They'll let me in
if you come with me. But if you go without me, they may look at you like, who is she?
Are they going to spit on my food in the back?
Oh, never. No.
Okay.
No, matter of fact, that place is one of the cleanest places. You'll smell bleach when you go in there because, let's face it, Hispanics are hard workers. That place is spotless.
Not promoting a particular. Where is this place?
It's on Barksdale, so it's right there by the base.
Okay. And they do a great business.
Oh, they do wonderful. Big time.
That's incredible. Well, I saw that number and I thought, I wonder if there's something Bossier's doing to attract the Hispanic crowd.
They're very Latino friendly in Bossier.
And Latino friendly.
Yes.
That means no ICE officers there, or what's going on?
Well, so do you know Vita?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
so Vina's amazing, and she's like the godmother of the Hispanic community, and she has her office over there right off of Barksdale. And she does a lot of stuff to help the Hispanics. So she'll teach them how to navigate the government, businesses, the MPC, and she's in Bossier, so that's where they go to get help. So that's where they go.
Wow, my son played in that soccer league that the Hispanic community has. I think they play on the riverfront in Bossier, and Mario, I was stunned. They would go out there to play 8, 9 a.m. games, and they'd have their grills going.
Oh, for sure. It's a Saturday. It's an entire day thing.
It was an event, and I thought, son, we can do this every Saturday, because they recruited him because he was a good soccer player.
Right.
So they were like, well, let's get this white boy and bring him on. He can come be one of us, and he had fun. I'd get the best food you could imagine.
Look, Hispanics are all about family and fun, and that's one reason. I mean, obviously, you're going to always love what you are, but I really love. Like, I'm grateful that I was born into a Hispanic family. Grateful.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, Erin.
We're going to do it again, I hope.
I really enjoyed it. Absolutely. I'll be back.
You bet. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. McCarty in the morning, and we will be back tomorrow. We have another special guest planned for tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you yet. It'll be a surprise. Got to tune in the 6 o'clock hour and find out who's going to be tomorrow's voice, because we're sharing different voices from the community and different takes on how people think, what people are thinking are our problems, and our solutions. It's all right here on 1017 FM, 710 KEEL.